On today's show, Atari releases their financial report of 2024, and it's actually pretty good. New games, and a little complaint, and everything's coming up right now. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Dadisajoke Retro Rock and Gamer Weekend Report. And on today's episode 65, we got quite a bit of stuff to talk about, which is, I thought this was going to be a kind of a dead week, but it became news-filled really quickly. Okay, let's get off on the right foot here. There's a new Jaguar game coming out, everybody, for all those Atari Jaguar fans, called Livewire, and it's getting a physical release, which is very cool. So all you Atari Jaguar fans can celebrate and what have you, which is actually very exciting. It's good to see that the community at large is getting together and getting all this stuff out and doing the best they can, which is very cool. Now, here's something really cool. Someone from Atari age ended up finding an Atari 2600 game called Fish on one of their VAX backup systems, and it got distributed, and it's called Fish. It's not complete. I believe it's either a prototype or something that was being worked on or what have you. Need more coffee. It's too early still. Mm. Ah, remember, folks, don't forget your coffees when you're watching this. It's coffee time. Okay, so yeah, it's called Fish, and here, where is it here? Yeah, so Dutchman 2000 from Atari Age. I found this game on the VAX VMS backup tape from Atari Coin-Up division. Fish for the 2600. Little is known as who programmed it or how it ended up on the VAX. And there's a ROM file that was released for it. Check this out. It's a 4K bin file with 1,189 downloads. So a lot of people have tried it out. And if you haven't, it's available. Just go to Atari Age or just do a search on Google for Fish, and it should pop up. Okay, let's get back to the next story here. Okay. Here's my gripe, okay? And I'm a little frustrated here. It's been months, honestly, that we've gotten a release, a good release of an Atari VCS game. And then I'm talking about the new Atari VCS. I don't know what's going on there. It's frustrating. We used to get new games every Friday, or just about every Friday, but lately it's been super quiet. It's frustrating. People want to see new games. We know there's a lot of new games out there. There's a lot of indie developers, you know, submitting their games to Atari, and nothing's coming out. It's frustrating, especially some of the titles. We're still to this day, and I'm getting pissed off about it. Is the DLC for Atari 50? I mean, I really want to get that. I haven't bought it on any other platform. I want it for my Atari VCS. That's where Atari 50 is, and I want it there. Plain and simple. Come on, Atari, get on the stick. Let's get this stuff out there. I know there's technical difficulties, but I've worked in the software industry. They can be worked out easily. Well, not easily, but they can be worked out. So please, by all means, release it. We're all dying here. Okay, that's it. That's rant done. Now let's get to the Atari financials. Okay, so for the end of, let's see here. So for the year end of 2024, Atari had pretty good year. their revenue growth was 128.69%, which was amazing. So Atari revenue of 13.7 million euros in the half year ending September 30th, 2024, with 218.6% growth. This brings the revenue in the last 12 months to 27.9, up 128.69% year over year. In the financial ending March 31st, 2024, Atari's annual revenue of 20.6 million with 103.96% growth. Now tell me there isn't any money in retro games or just the retro video game scene. Atari proved that. They had an awesome year. So let's get to a little bit more details here. And we pop this up. Click that. Okay. So, okay. So the first calendar year execution upon the company's retro-focused strategy has culminated in successful console and PC releases of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind, The Thing Remastered, as well as the Nintendo Switch release of Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic, which I finally found out I bought my daughter for her birthday an Atari, a Nintendo Switch. Was it not the full release? There was the ones that you can just play anyway. Her Atari Switch, or her Nintendo Switch, and I kind of want to get it because I remember playing the classic version Roller Coaster Tycoon, and I absolutely loved it. So I just might grab her Switch and download it and play it. Anyway, that's another story for another time. Okay, so the three titles exemplify Atari's belief that games based on high quality, high recognizable IPs can succeed in the crowded video market for new video games. Now, here's another little thing. I was thinking about this last night. The video game industry, from what I've been reading, has been going through this big mashup, or not mashup, but turbulence. AAA studios closing down, resources upon resources being thrown into these games to get them better graphics, better playability, better. But the thing is, it doesn't seem like it's profitable anymore. So because once a publisher releases a game, they axe the studio, right? They just stop paying them. It's like, okay, you guys are done. Bye. There's no, you bring us another game, no nothing. So it's just been a complete and utter mess. But it seems like simpler, not retro focused, but more, simpler games that don't have to be pushing the graphics barrier, don't have to be pushing the CPU barrier, are just as fun and just as good. And it brings back to the old adage of Atari that, guess what? You don't have to have the best graphics. You don't have to have the best this and that. It's the games. It's the playability. It's the fun. And I think a lot of these AAA studios have forgotten that, right? Maybe AAA studios should focus on smaller type games, right? Who knows? I'm just spitballing here, but anyway, we can talk about that later. Okay, so here's some more information. In addition, the company began shipping the Atari 2600 Plus, the Atari 7800 Plus retro console on November 29, fulfilling pre-orders and hitting the peak holiday shopping window, which is very important. The 7800 Plus, which uses HDMI and wireless controllers to marry retro aesthetics with modern living rooms, follows the company's very successful release of the 2600 Plus, which reintroduced cartridge-based gaming. Again, I mean, it's retro-focused, but it's new, and it's actually exciting. For Atari to make these numbers, people are buying into it. In 2023, Atari committed to a strategic decision to refocus the games and hardware lines for business on the company's core strengths in classic gaming. The 2023 acquisition of game development studio Digital Eclipse and Night Dive Studios significantly deepened the company's expertise in bringing retro games from the 1970s through the early 2000s to modern PCs and consoles, and expanded the company's skill and reputation for acquiring the rights and developing content around some of the world's most beloved IPs. Well, plain and simple, there it is. I mean, that little paragraph there just shows they hit the nail on the head. So more than half a dozen titles were also released under the Atari brand, including Yars Rising, a title developed by Studio WayForward based on one of Atari's well-known 2600 games. Major distribution developments at Atari include the launch of dedicated version of Roller Coaster Tycoon Touch for Netflix mobile games, and company's Recharge series of games for Netflix new cloud gaming service. During the year, Atari also acquired Intellivision brand and a large portfolio of Intellivision games, as well as Roller Coaster Tycoon, and that's it. Atari expanded its publishing footprint in April 2024 when it announced it reestablished a publishing label under the Infogames brand. Infogames has already acquired the publishing rights to a number of game franchises, including Bread and Fred, Totally Reliable Distribution Service, and Surgeon Simulator. Wade Rosen, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, commented, "It was critical that Atari execute against our retro-focused strategy in 2024. I'm extremely pleased with the company's performance across all our business lines," said Wade Rosen, Chairman and CEO of Atari. Ending the year with such a strong reception to the fourth quarter game releases, as well as the Nintendo Switch release, gives me confidence that our strategy will lead to even more success in the coming year. So that is very exciting and very cool. But then it also kind of flips back to why there's no new games on the Atari VCS, and why aren't some of these games being ported to the Atari VCS? Because fine, if this was like 4 years ago when the Atari VCS first came out, and there weren't that many people, fine, I don't see a weekly release of games. But ever since Black Friday, and I've bumped into a lot of people online who got into the Atari VCS, there's a whole bunch of new customers out there who are waiting for brand new games. Fine, there's on the store there's a lot of games right now to choose from, but putting out new games is crucial for the Atari VCS success, to be quite honest with you. Anyways, folks, I think that's it. Let's see, how long have I been going here? About 12 minutes, which is about right. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. That's the news for today. I got nothing else for you, but I will follow up. Also, I had a really successful a live stream playing Atari 2600, 5200, 7800 games. Way too fucking early for me. I can't even talk. Anyway, I did a live stream, and for once, it was successful. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more. I had a blast playing them. I met a few more people, which is really cool. So let me know. Anyways, folks, take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye now.